Fetish.
We're here.
We're here.
In person.
IRL.
IRL.
And not like when I say that when I'm just like going live on Instagram, but I'm not really in real life.
Yeah.
I can see Susie. I could reach out and touch her if I wanted.
Episode 532. Will there be touching? Who knows?
She is sitting far away at the end of the table from me, so it makes it hard. But I'm touching her in my mind?
Oh, my God.
Inappropriate, Sarah?
All of a sudden, the whole podcast changes.
I just missed you.
Sarah is here at my house. Mm-hmm. She's really made herself at home.
Uh-oh. What'd I do? See, now it's like I know nothing.
Oh, you know.
Oh, is this when I walked in on you?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Sarah doesn't understand what closed doors mean.
This is true.
This is
and
true.
You know what I think it might be is that I am in a house with dogs, and we naturally close the door behind us.
Who's we?
Me and my mom, because she's been spending a lot of time at my house. She's like, now it's become a we. I know, really. It's she's basically moved in, and which is fine. I love it. I think she's leaving after I get back from this trip. Except she's really trying to sell me on you and I taking a trip to like the Bahamas or something, and her like staying at my house. So I like, yeah, she's like, you and Susie need to talk. Like, she even thought, she's like, okay, so you're flying to Pittsburgh, and then when are you guys going to the Bahamas? I was like, when did you get this idea? I think you and I were just talking about that. But anyway, so yes, she's there, and I've been like making an effort to close the door behind me. So maybe it's just like, I don't know. I assume that I don't knock. You're right. It was a mistake. I have regrets. I saw nothing.
If one was in that habit
right.
of closing doors, presumably what would accompany that habit is
knocking if they were open. I guess it's just like living alone. I never assume that there's a person behind there, too. I mean, I guess
I was taking my morning bath.
As what she does, yes.
As only I do.
Yes.
And in walks Sarah, and I thought it had to be Lincoln. I'm screaming at him like, Lincoln!
Right.
What are you doing?
Like,
and then I'm like, oh my God, it's Sarah coming on in.
In my defense, there are a lot of doors in this house. And half of them, I don't even know where they go. And I could easily get turned around in this place.
Okay, but you knew you were trying to use the bathroom.
Okay, this is correct.
At that time.
This is correct. But I wasn't quite sure where your bathroom was. Mm-hmm. Or if that was it.
Yeah,
I didn't know because also it seemed like if I were to assume where would Susie take her bath, I would think it might be in the master bathroom.
Yeah, there's no tub in there or shower.
I don't even know. I never even seen it because I don't know even.
She hasn't made her way over there.
Yeah,
she's been
to that wing,
occupying my bathroom while I'm in it.
But also in my defense, you've got all the really nice bath products in there. It smells lovely.
Well, that's true.
Who doesn't want to hang out in there?
I told you, I love that.
I mean,
company.
I just want to like sit in your bathroom all the time with you.
Look, she's buttering me up
to
make up for this
Next
travesty.
time I'll read you stories and like pour you wine.
And that was the other thing.
What?
I was I had NPR on in the bathroom. It's not like it was silent in there.
You know what? There were fans. I got your kids screaming. I'm in the middle of a Nerf battle with your son.
It gets confusing, I guess.
And then as soon as we were done, I was like, Lincoln, shh. You know how you like do that? Like I got in trouble for something and then now I have to like police everybody else's behavior of being like, oh, you're being very loud. Your mom is trying to take a bath.
I'm fine with noise. I am less fine with like being nude in front of humans.
Oh, but you look great. So no worries.
Thank you.
I only saw side boob, but it looks good.
I mean, that really, I will give you that. I have good side boob. That's about it.
Actually, let me just say, you have good 360-degree boob.
Okay. See
it's
what she's doing, and
angle.
it is working.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that.
All is forgiven.
Yes.
It is nice to be together.
Oh, man. It is like the best in the whole world. Are you surprised at how I emotionally kept it together? Did I cry? I cried a little.
You did cry a little.
But not like
it would have been
sob.
weird if you didn't.
I know. That would have been weird.
Did you feel like you had to really steel yourself to stay together?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
100%. And I'm coming off of and it was very obvious from my Instagram story. The few people who are very close to me totally knew and called me out on it because, I got like my nice fancy upgrade in which I was treated to unlimited pours from the bottle of wine. And
they knew that you were
flight.
tipsy.
Yes.
I didn't. I never know when you're tipsy.
Really?
No.
Oh my God. It was so obvious in that video that I did at the airport where I was like, oh my God, I can't contain my enthusiasm. My friend Tana was like, oh, you are so tipsy.
You must be tipsy around me a lot then, because that's how I am. That's how I know that it's you. That's like the Sarah affect.
Oh, I think there was a little more of a lisp or like some sort of like you could tell how I was talking.
Well, then this trip was necessary because I didn't pick up on that.
My friends that called me out were therapists, so they're good at catching that stuff. Okay. But yeah, I definitely was. And I had 5 minutes between. I had to run. I had to do that in an airplane.
Tell that story
airport.
About your watch.
About my watch.
How your watch was like. It looks like you're running outside.
Gosh, yes, I tried to take a picture of that, and I didn't get it in time. But I was going from gate to gate, so super fast.
Yeah.
And also the thing that was also making me faster, which I didn't share with you yet. I'm so glad I saved it for this podcast. There was a guy who was also late to his flight, who was. It was very clear he was trying to out fast walk me. He kept on like it seemed like he was trying to get ahead of me, and I was like, "Oh, you think you're a faster walker than me?"
That was a big mistake on his part.
Huge. And so then I had to hightail it double time and be like, let's show you what these Rothies can do.
Even when I do accidentally challenge you to some sort of competition, I immediately regret it. Because, I just think it's normal. Like, when you're with your friends, you're like, oh my gosh, let's see who can do that.
Yeah.
When it's Sarah.
Oh, don't you think I've gotten better?
Yes. But it's like I have PTSD.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I'm like, why did you say that, Susie?
Oh my God. How was I at Goofy Golf yesterday?
Real good.
See? Let the new evidence build for how I am.
Do you have to try not to be...
No, not at all anymore.
Okay.
I don't care as much.
Yeah, you're right. But if I had said, hey, Sarah, let's
I don't think I care as much.
Really?
I really don't. Because you know what I like doing is I'm more into it of cheering on Lincoln in it.
Yeah.
I want to get enthusiastic about the other person who I feel like should win.
Do you think that that's a result of maturity or deadening inside your soul? Or, tomato.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right.
Oh, same diff,
the more
right?
you live, the more you're like, who fucking
I'm like,
cares?
Who cares? My mom said this of there's this, once you get to 40, there's kind of a fuck it attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets even more profound after menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like I'm creeping up on the, I'm living for me. And I don't need to be I don't know. Maybe a little dead inside. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that,
I see
Mellows
her
me
come
out a bit.
alive, though, whenever she posts on Instagram about her HelloFresh cookery.
Do you see how good I've been recently?
Yeah.
I mean, I've not been good. HelloFresh been good. But I'm going to take all the credit.
No, it looks so good.
And that's keeping me alive, man. With my schedule, I don't know what I would do. I worked with my therapist to come up with a plan, and the plan was, hey, why don't you, plan for your meals for the week? Do you know how you could do that? Huh, actually, I do. And it has been such a lifesaver.
Well, and she mentioned the other day, because Lincoln was sharing all the foods he doesn't like, and Sarah was saying she used to think she didn't like mushrooms, but then she had this delicious HelloFresh meal with mushrooms, and then she was like, turns out only my exes didn't like mushrooms, and I just thought I didn't like it because they always said I didn't like mushrooms. I love them. She loves mushrooms, so now HelloFresh, we can thank you for expanding her horizons. And it's so great because they deliver all the ingredients to your door. You can make 15 to 20-minute dinners, breakfast on the go even. I've never had their breakfast. I should do that.
Yeah.
Well, I love a good breakfast. Yeah.
Yes.
But they just have everything you could ever want, something for everyone to enjoy. You can make changes. It's flexible. You can change the delivery day, customize everything.
I paused it when I came here.
Okay,
easy. One button, not like you have to search. It's so easy. I don't like having to think about how do I change it.
Yeah, because that's the goal. This is to make your life easier. So go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy14 and use BrainCandy14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. Go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy14. Use code BrainCandy14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. And you can eat nice like Sarah and I do.
Yes. And sometimes they throw in little treats. Did you get those marshmallows?
Yes.
Oh my God. Let me tell you what I did with those.
Treats, like
I
your
took
dog.
those and I cut them in half and then I put them between 2 graham crackers, put them in the microwave. S'mores. Ah, they're so good.
Do you agree that chocolate is optional in the s'more? Or do you think it's necessary?
No, I think it's optional. I'm kind of with you in that. I wouldn't.
They just they got ahead of themselves on that.
I mean,
ingredient.
I like I want the chocolate there, but I'm fine with if it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the one doing
It's
the
not
heavy lifting.
Yeah, it's not the mandatory ingredient.
Yeah. I mean, the marshmallow is obvious.
Marshmallow and then graham cracker and then chocolate.
Yes.
That's the
I'd say
order.
marshmallow, fire, graham cracker.
Fire!
Because it has to be melted. Because if you just took a marshmallow and put it between I'm not eating that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yes.
Fire is an ingredient.
Fire is like one of the key things. None of these things I was going to talk to you about today. But let me
what do you
see
wanna
what.
talk about?
Oh, okay. So a few. Well, this story I read a really long time ago. I feel like it's really funny because, I write my notes for the week and everything. And the things that I didn't get to, sometimes I'll move over to the next page.
Yeah.
I'd say on about half of the pages in this book, it says adult baby baby fetish furniture at the top of my page. Have we talked about this?
So you keep avoiding it, but
Yes.
it's still like
It's
you
still
should talk
I'm like,
about it.
People are really going to want to
No,
hear this.
baby fetish furniture I haven't heard of, but I think is important that we do.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I watched this video and read an article that went with it on these guys who are in, I want to say it's like Louisiana or Kentucky or something like that. But they, and I understand that those are not next to each other, but in my mind I put them in
Might as well be.
similar category. Anyways, so their job is to make furniture specifically for adult baby fetishes.
So that's their company.
This is their company.
What's it called?
I'm going to have to find out.
Well, because I just can't imagine what combination of those words you would.
Oh, really good point. So I went in with the whole idea that it was going to be one of those like cringy kind of like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I was really like, I mean, I'm not into baby fetish, that's for sure, but I understood the importance of them having this job and having this. Like,
this I gotta hear.
Right.
Because I cannot imagine being convinced of that.
Well, okay. So one of the things that they talked about was kind of like every person's right to kind of express themselves and how they feel and this, that, and the other. The personal stories of the people who did this were the things that I think stood out to me because they were men who were in kind of like the construction world, but were gay and didn't feel like they really fit in. So somehow got involved. I want to say they got like fired from a job or somebody got like let go from a job like because of their sexuality. And then they like answered an ad about like making this. Like somebody was like, oh, can you make this? And
okay.
at first they were like, I don't know. That's like kind of a little weird. I don't know if I really want to like, get into that industry.
Yeah.
But they saw like the way that it was really like a shared experience of being
Outcast.
yeah, outcasts. Thank you. And hearing these like hillbilly guys talk with such empathy, my brain couldn't even compute it. It didn't match. Like the picture didn't match what I thought.
I get what you're
do.
saying.
And by the end of it, I was like, well, good for you and your
yeah,
baby
good for the
fetish
business
furniture.
people. I don't have a problem with them trying to profit off of these weirdos.
Yeah.
But the fetish itself is problematic for me.
Oh my God, I didn't even think. Okay.
You didn't even think what?
I didn't think about that.
Well,
but
you're very tolerant of these people.
I know. But
you shouldn't be. I've decided to quit allowing this.
I know. Okay, so but here's we have to think about like the intention too, because I can see somebody developing that fetish if you had attachment issues where somebody like I don't think the sexual, like, I don't even want to say those words. I can't even say it. But I think it's more an expression of a need for nurture than
Then
it is
just do that. Stop it with the bonnets and diapers and stuff.
Oh God, you're right. Maybe I am too, because I get weird, creepy feelings in my stomach. That's the thing that surprised me. You know what? This is probably why I avoided talking about this for so long. It makes sense now when I knew that in my stomach, like, I think I'll just put up the link and maybe you guys watch it and you judge for yourself, because that was the feeling I had. But then I'm like, it felt good by the end of it. Like they were doing something.
Yeah, the furniture people aren't the issue.
Right. Like,
but then you know how
but then I think we're if you're not hurting anyone.
I know this is what you say, and I tried to get on board with it because it seems like the right thing for a progressive woman to do. But I can't, because you were like, there's no such thing as a fetish. Like, everyone just is into their own thing. There's no such thing as, like, normal. Yes, there is. You know it, and I know it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just going to post it and let you guys decide. Because it felt like these guys go through that same journey of, like maybe disgust or judgment, and then they see how it kind of helps people. I don't know. It is strange.
Well,
I just can't.
How many dollars are we talking about this industry?
Oh my God, a lot. Like, they're the only one. I don't think there are a lot of people who do it.
What
it's
do they
more
sell?
Like each
Cribs and rockers and stuff?
And
high chairs?
Yes, that's the big one. And they say people are really into the customization of it. They really want it like their own.
See, that's annoying
to me,
like,
too. But how different is that than the weirdo sex doll people?
I don't like them either.
True. Susie's like, look, you're right. I don't like any of them. They're all wrong.
I really just have an aversion to, like, props. Anytime you have to buy furniture for to get off, you should probably do like a little bit of a reset on there.
Okay. You know what? Absolutely. And it really is an avoidance of, I really wish they would go to therapy instead of spending the $6,000 on the crib. You could have easily, gone to therapy.
But like, let's say someone did come to you with this baby thing.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you would try to kind of like talk them out of it unless
I wouldn't. It's not my job to talk anybody out of anything.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you guys don't have a job. I really am. I've come to this conclusion. Because you guys, it's the only industry in the world where you'll be like, okay, so what do I do? I mean, that's the whole premise of this thing is advice. And you guys are like, what do you think you should do? Like, what is this mirroring bullshit?
Right. I mean, that's kind of lazy therapy in some ways, that if they're doing that. I mean, we do I feel like, sure, that's like Rogerian therapy. That is kind of like, the older ones will do that.
Well, I would too. If I had been doing it for 30 years listening to people dumb problems, I would probably be like, Crips. You tell me.
You tell me.
So It's not that I don't get it.
Right.
But I'm just sort of like, I cannot believe you people are charging for this. Not you.
Yes.
But
not me. Present company excluded.
Whatever that thing you just said, Rodarian or whatever.
Yeah. That Carl Rogers, he was the therapist who kind of introduced that whole reflective, like, blank state, like, just...
Yeah, like, what if people tuned into this show and then they wanted to be entertained, and I'm like, well, why don't you entertain me? I'm like, that's not going to work. That's my job.
Oh, gosh.
All right, I'm all right.
I like to think that my clients would say I don't
put in the work.
I put in the work.
That I believe.
Yeah. And I do like to ask the tough question.
Okay, but like, let's say they came
questions.
in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like did have the fetish, and they were ambivalent about it. Like they liked it, obviously, but then they were like, I don't know, is this weird?
Yeah.
What would you do if they were sort of on the fence?
Here's the crazy thing is, like, I rarely treat the symptoms. That's the difference between like a life coach and a therapist.
Yeah.
Like, I get down to, why is it, if I don't even talk about the symptom.
Yeah, right.
I would never even mention the fetish.
Yeah.
We would just talk about
what may be inspiring it.
Yes.
Okay.
What's at the root of the problem? What's your belief about yourself? What's your belief about what you need to be or your worth, as a person? What is your acceptance and love of yourself. Can you accept yourself? And I think those things maybe fall away the more you learn to love and accept yourself.
Yeah. Do you think so?
I do. I mean, I feel like I was having this conversation a little bit ago about, like, you know, even stuff we talk about on the show. You know, we've been like, I think if you were to look back at episodes in the very beginning, the kink level was a little higher in, like, the enthusiasm or excitement for me in that category was a little bit higher. Now it feels like you don't need that. It's like the prop thing, like you're talking about. It feels like, you know, really, really good sex is just how good is the connection.
That's what I'm thinking.
That is it. And everything else feels like...
If you got to buy custom furniture to have an orgasm.
Yeah. Or any, like...
Custom.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I mean, and I get, like, you know, in really, like, enjoying yourself, playing, having fun.
Yeah, have a good time.
Yeah. You know, like, but you don't want Christmas every day. Like, that wouldn't be, like, the you know...
That's what I mean.
The regular way I'd have sex. And if that becomes, like, the only way that you can get off, then that's the thing, too.
Do you think that these people ever just go for the vanilla version? Or do you think they do, this is required?
I have no idea. You know,
Okay.
I don't have experience in that. That's, like, not my specialty of what I work with.
What is your guess, though? It seems it's pretty immersive.
Yeah. We do know about, like, the communities.
The communities. But that's sort of what, there might be a lot more about it that is, that might be the important part.
The community.
They like to feel like a part of something, too, you know?
Of course. I mean,
like the flat earthers.
Yes.
I feel like we should have our own community for people who love shipping directly from their house or office.
You will be a proud member, as will I.
Of the Stamps.com community.
Yes.
And that is a community we support because...
Community of staying at home.
This is just good sense.
Yes.
Staying at home, right. You save on stamps and postage, and you don't have to leave your house, and things still get where they need to go. Yes. What more do you want? Send your letters, your packages, ship directly from where you are by printing it out. And then your carrier picks it up. It's a no-brainer. And with their switch and save feature, you can compare carriers to find the best rates. So sometimes it'll be UPS, sometimes it'll be USPS, and you can just get better rates that way. Stop wasting time going to the post office and go to Stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with our code BRAINCANDY, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Brain Candy. That's Stamps.com, promo code Brain Candy. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
Yes. Yes. So, yes, I am not so mad at the baby furniture fetish people.
The craftsmen.
The craftsmen. Mm-hmm. However, I am mad at another guy this week.
Great.
Right? We love that. So, did you hear about the Britney Spears fan fiction in the Science Journal?
No.
Okay. So... you know, Britney Spears has been a hot topic in the news recently with the conservatorship and everything going on. So I don't know I don't know how it was discovered or how somebody came about this, but back in 2008 in the Journal of Nature, a freaking academic journal, okay? So in this journal, there's a section in this, like, scientific magazine or journal that's for... like fiction, like it's like a fiction section, which seems weird anyway. And it's for, like fantasy writing. And so this writer did a fan fiction about Britney Spears becoming a, lab tech at LSU. And it is one of the strangest things. I couldn't believe it. There was somebody tweeted, somebody found this and said, what, and I cannot emphasize this, the fuck is this? And it was titled, When Britney Spears Comes to My Lab. And it was in Nature magazine.
Are you sure?
100%. Because then the author of it, who's a professor at LSU, doubled down when he was interviewed and said, why did you write this? Can I read you the opening of it?
Yes, please do. read it because I'm not in belief at the moment.
Right. It's you can't even believe it.
I don't even understand why they would need a fantasy section in an academic journal.
Why would they do that? Right? I can't understand it. It was published it's a science fiction section of Nature called Futures. And that's this woman named Helen Pearson, who's the chief magazine editor for Nature, said that it was recently flagged and sent to us. Like, this happened, of course, in 2008. But still, how the hell did this one get through the, editing process? So here's how the article opens. When Britney Spears comes to LSU, she'll be wearing a silver strapless stretch top that doesn't show too much of her belly, unless she actually moves her arms, and black capri pants with a little dip in the waistband. It's followed by the sentence, cutting up dead animals in the student lab will give her an odd, heady rush that she'll find slightly disorienting and mildly pleasant. What?
I'm seeing the response, the author's note from this June.
Can you believe this? He tried to say, so he had two arguments. People reached out to him and were like, WTF? And he said the piece was originally written for two reasons. One, I believe and still believe that Britney would be a strong research student due to her work ethic and creativity. Since she was raised in Louisiana, she would have gone to LSU had she decided to go to university. And two, I had talked to several high school science students about how to get more teens interested in science, and several said, have someone like Britney Spears promote it. Britney's performing image at the time unfortunately strongly focused on the male gaze reaction and objectification of her. And so those elements were all of the attempted satire of the piece, all where the attempted satire of the piece comes from, but this humor is clearly inappropriate. I've been trying to reply to any people who have contacted me and let them know that I sincerely apologize for it. Okay, so he didn't double down, but I just feel like when you're pointing out these are the two reasons I did it, I don't think you can say, here's why I did it, and I'm sorry. Like, it just feels like
Well, I mean, the author's note at the beginning that I'm reading seems more succinct and understandable.
Yeah, well, I didn't read that one. What did that one say?
I want to respond to some of the recent reactions to this article by saying I'm deeply sorry that it has caused offense. When I wrote it in 2007, it was intended as a humorous piece in praise of Britney Spears, satirizing the style of articles about her at the time, but then refocusing that framework on her immense talents and the fact that the drive and creativity needed to succeed in research are similar to those needed to succeed in the music business. I realize now that parts of the story are inappropriate, and I sincerely apologize. And then there's an editor's note. Mm-hmm. But, like, they would have had no idea that what is happening now would be happening.
Yeah.
And, like, fucking academics are weird.
That's true.
And, like,
I'm like, why'd you take the advice of a high school student? And, I could imagine the high school student, like, here's this guy who's the professor or whatever talking to them. And he's like, how do I make that, cooler? And they're like, I don't know, have Britney Spears do it or something. And he actually, like, they were probably, like, fucking with him a little. Mm-hmm. And I think he took it as serious.
I mean, I think it's harmless, but I think the bigger question is why in God's name the Journal of Nature even has a fantasy section.
Right.
What is the good that comes from that?
I don't know. I think it's I don't know. I can't figure it out either.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it seems very strange.
I would need to know more about that.
And, or maybe it's one of those things where it was like it got grandfathered in. Like, they did it a long time ago, and like, maybe in, like, when, I imagine in, like, the 70s when the whole, like, spacey kind of, like, futuristic sci-fi writing was super popular. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, ooh, that would be fun, maybe to get readers' interest in it. And then it just stayed. And they're like, oh, I guess we just have to fill this section now. And it's like, I don't know, Harry Potter or Britney Spears fan fiction. What do you want?
Do you think the intention was bad?
I think that it shows how... I think the intention was maybe good, but I think that it shows how women are objectified and still, like you said, seen through that male gaze. Mm-hmm. And if I were a female research assistant or somebody, a female reading that, interested in science, that wouldn't make me want to, like, I wouldn't feel, I don't feel like I'm one of those girls who even looks like the other girls in the challenge. Like, I don't put myself in the same category as, like, the, like the girls who are, like, the Instagram models and do all that. Like, that's, like, not, me. So if somebody were trying to like get women interested and used that to represent something that I had a passion for, it's the same argument about the skateboarders, the women in skateboard ads who are like models holding a skateboard. The women who are skateboarding and buying the clothes are like, that doesn't look like, that doesn't fit. This is clearly advertising for like men or other women that aren't interested in this. And it feels like it's further pushing those women out of the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's the part that kind of made me feel like, yucky.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's so weird. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
I mean, and it is kind of a reflection of how she's been objectified for the entirety of her life, including now. And sometimes it's even amongst people who like don't mean any harm.
Right.
You know, that just she's just not a fully realized human in the eyes of a lot of people.
Yes. That's really crazy to think about. Mm-hmm. That we as a society have dehumanized a...
Well,
we
and
probably
it is
do it
sort
more
of
often than we think, too.
Not representative of, but an example of how all women are.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I had never really thought about that, you know, you aren't a whole person, you are just your parts, until I was in a women's studies course, and we were reviewing women in advertising, like how women are portrayed in advertising. And the number of times ads just use parts of women, arms, legs, between legs, like, or they make them into like robot women or something in comparison to men. It is shocking. Mm-hmm. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but it's like a simple Google search. You can see that, where it's like every single Smirnoff ad you've ever seen, it'll be like parts. Mm-hmm. You're not
movie
even
posters
a whole,
do that all the time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Movie poster, the shot between the legs of like
just the cleavage.
Yes. What is that?
You
are
the shot
just
between the legs. That's a popular one, yeah.
Right? And you know, of course, we were playing mini golf the other day, and I did get a really great shot between your son's legs of you shooting the ball, but you know, turning the tables.
Make him be the object.
Yes, he's
That's
the
good.
object.
Yeah.
There we go. We do. Does it feel weird when we do that to men? I would have to see an example.
It feels more like a parody.
A parody.
Like Magic Mike, you know, that kind of...
of course, I thought when I saw that I was going to think that this is ridiculous and stupid, and then I was like, oh, dang.
Right.
Get it, boys.
But it's based on the idea that that's not actually what we desire.
Right. No, it's not.
It's sort of a joke.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they are handsome.
Right.
So there's desire, but it's not in the same way.
It's not in the same way at all. And also, you'd have to catch me at the right part of my cycle for me to be even, you know, interested in that.
Right.
I've learned a lot about that recently.
I don't like it. I'm mad. Do you remember?
We should be mad at Susie everything.
I am.
Right.
Welcome.
Well, yes. Like, for real.
Well, like, remember on this show, I mean, this was in the early days, we talked about how whatever, like, whoever you are as a child, you then become again after menopause. Yes. And that's who you actually are.
Yes.
And all the reproductive years, that's not you. No. That's just hormones trying to role play you.
To get you pregnant.
I can't get that out of my head because every time you hear about, because I get, you know, the hormonal migraines. Yeah. Oh, so I'm just very aware.
Aware of hormonal changes.
A lot of people get acne.
Yep.
Things change during the various stages of it. And you realize, like, I'm just a vehicle for this nightmare. Right. It won't be. And I'm really mad that, like, from, let's say, 40 to 50, you are basically barren. Mm-hmm. But you still have to get the period and all the symptoms and the migraines or whatever. Sometimes they get worse.
Right.
You start bleeding like a lunatic out of your quote whatever. And it's like the cruelest joke because you really aren't going to make a baby probably.
Right. It's the way. It's just like, are we still doing this?
Okay, I'm done.
Are we doing this dance?
Right. Really?
Right.
Let's take a hot second to talk about something I love, which is friggin' learning nonstop. There's nothing better than learning something new. You guys know my obsessive reading schedule, but now I've discovered something called Wondrium. Thousands of hours of content, and they've partnered with like National Geographic, Smithsonian, the Culinary Institute of America, all these amazing partners to create really cool programs. There's this one called Crimes of the Century, A Selective History of Infamy. It is a must-watch for true crime fans, and you know I am with all my penitentiary pals. Then there's one called The Life and Works of Jane Austen, just learning about her life and then the storytelling that came from that and how just the concept of marriage alone. It's so fascinating how her life informed how she wrote about these things. And then you'll never read these novels in the same way again. It's really exciting. Trust me, your brain is going to love this place. Sign up now through our special URL to get a great offer. It's a 14-day free trial of unlimited access. Go now to Wondrium.com/braincandy. That's WONDRIUM.com/braincandy. Wondrium.com/braincandy. You guys are going to love it. Okay. Sorry, you were saying, Sarah. I'm just mad about
Everything
it.
you're saying. Okay. But I'll do one that'll make you I'll add to it. I went to this wonderful women's retreat, this yoga, sex, and rituals retreat, and all women. It was amazing. We wrote letters to our vagina. It was like that kind of stuff. I loved it.
What did your letter say?
So freeing.
Dear.
It was weird. I couldn't come, like, I didn't even start it with like a dear and then like
you were just
a
like,
name.
hey Gina.
I just like, hey Gina.
What's up,
I just
girl?
like rolled right into it of
okay.
Maybe like, it was very personal. And it was another woman read hers and shared, talked about things like trauma that they've experienced at the hands of others, and just saying like I release you from that, and you are, it's none of that's your fault kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
amazingly powerful. Because
tell me why.
A lot of the times, I think for a lot of women, we can feel, and especially if you've experienced sexual abuse, you can feel like you are there to please others. You're there for the pleasure, like that. Even your own sexuality.
Kind of like the Britney thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That you are there to service somebody else. Your job is not for the pleasure of you.
Yeah.
It's to please somebody else or to procreate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so having permission to be selfish in that way, to say like, to take that back and recognize that is very freeing. You feel like you come out like not as, like I felt like I could stand up for myself more. Mm-hmm. Even in our last episode or a couple episodes, I don't know when it was, I was talking about how after that date I went on and feeling like I went on the date, then I went on this retreat, and then when I was done, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to text him and say like, thanks, but if he hadn't texted me back, I don't think I would have done that if I didn't go on this retreat.
Yeah,
it really kind of showed me like you are in charge of.
This might sound like a stupid question, but were men even allowed to come?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, only women, and I was the only white woman. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I would never do that event, but like
so
rituals
great.
can be very powerful.
So powerful.
And I think everyone has to figure out like how they can tap into that.
Yes.
Whatever would work for them.
Yes.
Was anyone like, I don't want to do that?
I think a lot of people were, myself included, like closed off or shut off from that. But it was set up in such a way where it's like you're not. When we did any meditation, it wasn't facing each other. It was all like, turned away from each other or laying down or like, quiet. So it felt very personal. And then when people shared, it was we all had very similar experiences of being I think just as a woman, it's not often we're put in that situation where we're told you have permission to feel good and you have permission to, put yourself first. And I think it being over multiple days, like the first day, there's this little bit of like, oh, this is like hard, and then everybody just gets comfortable, and you see everybody's like experiencing similar things or has gone through, had like their own ways that like shame has shown up. I know for myself, and when you have early abuse, that it like sticks with you. Mm-hmm. And so this was like and it's so common, for women to experience that I think once it made it easy when everybody recognized how we were all so similar and, connected on this. And a lot of it was educational, which is what I, was coming back to. A lot of it was educational, and we were, me. I mean, I have like I'm a therapist. Like, you'd think I would know about a lot of this stuff, and I didn't, about like hormones and our female cycle. We are living in a society that is based on a circadian rhythm that's 24 hours or 25, whatever it is, 23. That is based on a male hormonal cycle. Mm-hmm. A man's hormonal cycle is that circadian rhythm 24 hours a day. It peaks it starts to peak and rise in the middle of the day. It's basically the 9 to 5. And then it drops off at the end of the day to fit the 9 to 5. That's not what ours is. Mm-hmm. Ours is over 28 to 32 days or whatever. It's like the lunar one. And you'll have 2 weeks where you have energy. And then you'll have 1 week where you have absolutely no energy at all. And then you have another week. It's more like the seasons. Mm-hmm. It's more like, fall, winter, hibernation, spring to do stuff. Summer where, we're like out and want to like, it's like when we're ovulating. And then fall, when you're just like
dying inside.
Yeah, kind of. But we're not. Our society is not set up for that. It's not set up to cater to women's. And we have this feeling of, oh yeah, you got to have like the same routine every single day, and you got to be like working. No, you need to like work out different when you're in different stages. You're not going to want to do high intensity interval training when you're in your a different phase of your cycle. Mm-hmm. And like we feel like this expectation to fit into that male like cycle system. And I think it's a nice reminder that if it seems hard sometimes, that's one of the layers as to why. Yeah.
Well, knowledge is power.
Yeah. It's a nice reminder for me.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. So
I feel bad for them, though. Like, I don't even see it all. Some parts suck, but a lot of time I'm like, I wouldn't want their situation where you can't, like, express yourself or have the full range of human emotions or whatever it is. Right. I'm just sort of like, I'm good.
We need, what do they call it? Like a binary gender system in general is just kind of making us all feel nuts.
Well, it limits us unnecessarily.
So unnecessarily. Yeah. Oh, that actually ties into one of the stories. One of the things I really want to talk to you about.
What if it's like another furniture fetish company?
Oh my God, it's totally not. It's something I think you will be. I had no idea about this phrase. You're going to know all about this.
I won't. I don't know what you're using it to say.
Ring by spring.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. I didn't know which direction we were going.
I read a great article that really, you know all about this because you grew up in the world of, evangelical, like, Christianity. Mm-hmm. And, hello, you have a freaking doctorate in this. So, you know all of this stuff. I had no idea that this was as strong of a thing as it was.
So weird.
I didn't even know about the tie between marriage and education, like the marriage education movement. Uh-huh. What the heck is going on there, Suze?
The ring by spring phrase is newer. I think that's, you get a lot of those phrases with social media where it becomes like a hashtag or something. Yeah. When I was in that world,
this is fascinating
we called it an MRS degree.
That's what I have in my notes. I'd never heard of that ever. An MRS degree.
Yeah.
What?
Like where you're just going to higher education to meet your man.
Susie, reading this felt like I didn't have any awareness that this was a thing.
Tell me why.
And that was one of the weird, we have like the feelings, then we have the feelings about the feelings. So like I had the feelings reading this, and then I had that awareness of like,
well, tell them what the Ring by Spring is.
Okay, so Ring by Spring is the this, I don't know, goal. Yes, this goal for we'll say women. It's mostly women.
Yes.
To be engaged and really engaged before they graduate college.
Yeah, you got to pair off.
And you look at it was really interesting in the article. It was in Vice. They were interviewing a marriage photographer, like a guy who does engagement photo shoots. And he said one of the most interesting things to see is how these newly engaged couples act, because you can really see the difference, like how they're really awkward around each other. They don't really know each other that well because they haven't been together that long. They like meet in the fall.
They're young.
And they're so young.
Yeah.
The thing that was really shocking to me that I did not expect was that the article argued that there isn't as big of an incentive for men to marry with the promise of a physical relationship as you think.
There isn't as much an incentive for them to want to get married?
Because 1/3 of people who are in a study that was done on students in Christian colleges reported that 1/3 of them who wanted to have sex, like were having premarital sex. 1/3 of them were abstaining, and 1/3 of them refused to answer. Well, so if they wanted to have sex, they were having sex. Is kind of like what they were getting at.
Okay, so you have a lot of things at play. Yes, they're horny. And they want to have sex, and if they have made some sort of chaste commitment, then that does really speed up the desire to want to pair off. But for women, there's other things on top of that, on top of the horniness, which is that the whole patriarchal idea links your self-worth to a partner, a male partner, and then childbirth. And so it's stigmatized to not be married and breeding, because then you're not a complete person. Men don't have that component. Like bachelorhood for men is more accepted. I mean, even the model of Jesus and a lot of the apostles.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Of course.
Like they can have a higher calling and have full value, but they would be super horny. So they need to sort that part out. But
oh my God,
there's no stigma.
You know what they said in this article, exactly what you're saying. It says that it often leaves women without the sense, like the men don't have that sense of urgency that's felt by women, which means that they're also free to construct their identities outside of the relationship, which, I mean, I had never really thought about this because I'm not exposed to that world. One thing I read that was so shocking were the women who were in the pre-med programs who were given the advice that they won't be as attractive if they're in that, and they switched to nursing.
Yes. Not only is it not encouraged for you to invest in your own self volition and autonomy, it's discouraged.
And then the women who don't get paired off graduate with degrees in fields they're not interested in at all, which makes them feel really lost. And I mean, they're ill-equipped for social and financial independence.
Well, yeah, because they're assuming they're going to pair off and that they won't have to even use the degree. So then if they are it's like musical chairs. If they're the one left standing, then they're like, shit, now I got to be a teacher, and they don't even like kids.
Right. Or a doctor. And they don't even want to, what?
There's not a lot of them that are
higher up there,
fully in this world and being like, I want to be a doctor, and then going to med school and doing 10 years without the man. I was just
thinking about the people who I know that they talked a lot about BYU in this article, and a lot of the schools in Utah, and the families that I know that are Mormon. There was a big pressure there was also a pressure of achieving academic success. So if you felt this pressure to achieve academic success and the pressure to get married, I wonder if there are those people who are like,
yeah, in the Mormon community, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are more invested in excellence than the traditional, like, Pentecostal or evangelical groups. Yeah.
I was also shocked to see the divorce rate amongst white conservative Protestants.
Oh, that's my favorite thing to tweet about.
It's like, I had no idea.
They love, like, homophobia, but they, like, turn a blind eye to the insane number of divorces in the Bible Belt.
They have the highest number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
17.4% compared to 14.2 in the national average.
Which, on one hand, you think, well, that's weird because they believe that that's wrong. But if you're getting married at fucking 19 because you want to get laid,
right.
You're probably not going to grow together.
Right. Right. So. And this, of course, there's always exceptions, but, I mean, come on.
Well, yeah.
And the men outnumbering women 2-1, or women outnumbering men 2-1 at these schools, there's no sense of urgency for the dudes.
No.
They're like, whatevs. And, of course you see this, that it's 2-1 with women and men in all religious settings. Mm-hmm. At church, Oh,
that's always been true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at the pulpit.
Right. In everywhere but the important roles.
Yeah, they're lying in the pews, but
oh my God,
they are not the leaders. Well, did you read about the in the same vein as the Ring by Spring? There was this viral music video called
No, what? Oh my God, I can't wait.
Good.
Oh God.
Modest is Hottest.
No.
And this dad, like total, like cliche white dad, has these 2 daughters, and he wrote this song, and it was supposed to be funny, but it's not. Like, where he wants them to wear turtlenecks and stuff.
As long as is there any rapping in it? Please, God, no.
I don't think so. But like,
avoid that.
What he thought was just like funny, when people didn't respond well, on the interwebs.
Shocker.
And they were pointing out how this is still framing it through that male lens.
Yes.
How am I going to be hottest?
Oh,
for who?
For who?
Them. So it's like problematic on several levels. Where it's still like, and you want to be hot too. Like,
right. Just
you
being hot is important. Not anything else. Not who you are, what you can contribute. That is the reason why I've got to write letters to our vaginas. See what I'm saying?
I should write a book to her.
For real. It is very... Oh, and Suze, you would have loved this because they talked about there's a man who wrote a book about a tribe in Africa that he was a member of, and probably it still is, and they put the emphasis on the women having the orgasm and the women ejaculating, and if the man can't make the woman ejaculate, he's like seen as the one that's like he feels the shame.
Yeah, that's why you should never fake it.
Never.
Right.
Oh my God! If you're still,
Sarah's like, wait,
are people doing that? Are we still don't?
I think
Ladies,
a lot of people do.
You are not performing for anyone.
But I think they're usually doing it so it's over. Where you want it to end. And if those guys have that idea of like...
That's so gross. We have to fucking stroke their dicks and their ego.
Because you know how some guys like almost make it about their ego so openly. They'll be like, no, I'm going to make you.
Oh, right. Well,
and then
I love
you're like,
that.
Well, I better fake it if I want this to end. I got things to do.
Right. Yeah.
So, but that's a bad move.
Yeah. Well, you could just be gentle and be like, oh, it's not happening for me tonight, but next time or something.
Or don't be gentle. Just be like, no, get off of me.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to like...
We don't.
Soften the blow.
We don't.
Because they're getting the wrong message.
I remember one time with a partner, I finished first, and they were like, and then I was like almost asleep. And they were like, what about me? And I was like,
what about you?
And then I took care of them.
Well, that'd be
but
one
still, I
thing
felt like the pressure
if they
of like,
had
and then
that
in my mind,
same.
I was like, what the?
Did they have that same standard for you where they
No.
said, well, that's the thing.
That's the thing. It's never what, that's what I've said. That's why in that moment I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Good to know.
Yeah.
Put that in the old good to know file.
Like, okay. So, yes, I say And it really is amazing when you write a letter. Oh, what I was going to say about this is that the tribe practices labia pulling. So they are looking because...
Oh, that would be...
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's
God.
what I'm saying, Suze.
My people.
Your people. They'll love you.
Oh, my God. I'd be like a goddess.
Goddess. Pre-pulling, you're just like that.
This is all natural,
This is all
baby.
natural, baby. Yep. Yes.
They like it long and sloppity-floppity.
The clitoris is a much larger organ than we think it is, and extends like a wishbone.
I don't know that I want
around.
to extend it.
No, it's not.
Hurt.
It's more like where you get to experience pleasure. It's like
so if
stimulating
you pull
to
on
that
the labia enough, the clitoris also protrudes.
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't read the book, and it was more like a general discussion of like how
they just
there
love
are
it.
Places that this is a
bigger
thing.
Is better.
Yes.
Size matters.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is great,
isn't it? I knew you'd love that.
I do because I like to talk about my flaps. And how big they are and everything. Because it used to bother me on the challenge when they would talk about the, quote, beef curtains
so annoying.
and stuff.
It's so stupid. It's such bullshit.
I remember them talking about some women and their meat curtains, as they called them.
They're awful. Don't listen to them.
And they acted like it was because she was so active or promiscuous.
So
and I was like, no, that just happens sometimes.
Real loud.
Because, every body is different, but they have it in their head that it's this purity culture. It's a weird extension
It is. And I guarantee you, if you gave them a diagram of a vagina, they wouldn't be able to label more than 2 of the parts.
Right. Well, they wouldn't care, though. They would have no shame about not being able to do that, which is embarrassing.
That's so embarrassing. Ugh, the worst.
But I just want to, educate the world that vaginas come in all different shapes and sizes.
I just want to educate my co-host that vagina comes in all shapes and sizes. You're just lovely.
No, I know and I embrace it, and I just want people to know, do not
Susie, I
be
feel
ashamed.
like you turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, because I like it. I just always was like
self-conscious.
Yeah.
And now you're in the fucking 40s.
I'm in the fucking 40s.
I don't care if anybody.
Yeah, because it's great. I don't know whether you have a problem with it, but that's on you.
Husband ain't complaining.
No, he's fine.
Right.
But I get a lot of messages from women after I do this.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I have one too.
Oh, good. They feel seen.
Like, yeah, girl.
Yes, we accept all shaped vaginas over here.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. We're doing the Lord's work.
Do you have a name for her?
Gina.
Oh, Gina. Right. Sorry.
I'm like offended.
Right. I forgot. We did that.
I'll never forget that
yes,
clip.
I remember.
You said that.
It's so funny.
Sarah thinks my vagina plays softball. She probably does. Because she doesn't take shit,
She doesn't take shit.
Yeah.
Come on. Floppity sloppity, she plays. Kidding.
Right.
Those are your words, not mine. Oh my gosh, this is just cracking me up. Okay.
Should we wind it down, or
is it really already? Oh, wait, I have to share one more thing because it's going to be, the season's going to come and go, and then I'm going to miss it. I can't even believe this story that I saw this morning. The police are so motherfucking dumb. The police in Los Angeles confiscated 5,000 pounds worth of fireworks.
Yeah.
Then had the genius idea to do a controlled detonation on the same street that they, just right there, on site, blew up the whole neighborhood. 17 people are in the hospital.
No.
Yes. I'll send you the video. I have it pulled up ready to send you because I'm like, I have to show her this. This is insane. That clearly wasn't supposed to happen, and it was not in a good neighborhood, and it makes me feel like not good. Mm-hmm. It is like.
You saying it was supposed to be a controlled detonation, but they just was it accident, or they just didn't plan it properly, or what?
The what do you call it? Chief of police or fire captain or whatever said that precautions were clearly taken, but look, I'm going to show you too. Captured on camera. There you go. Watch what happens.
Oh God!
In that explosion.
How could they say precautions were taken?
Yeah, none.
There's just cars everywhere
right?
and stuff.
Look at the middle of the street they did it in. Is that not the craziest? Oh my God! And it blew up the whole entire block. 17 people are in the hospital. What the hell are they doing? And there were what is it called? Those homemade explosive devices that were there as well that they just didn't take out. What the hell?
That's awful.
Yeah.
I hate that story.
Me too. Well, that's a horrible thing to close on. We should wind it down. I should have.
We should have left it with labia. God damn it!
Pulling. Damn it. Anyways,
let's talk about. Let's wind it down with Sarah's bathroom.
Oh gosh, you
invasion.
Had to bring it up again. What can I do to make it better?
No, I didn't mind at all.
Okay.
In fact, I was actually struck by how little I minded.
Oh, good.
Because I was just like,
yeah.
Normally if somebody sees you in the tub.
Right. Once Ren walked in on me in the bathroom, and it was the thing about like my private, like really wanting privacy and felt like I couldn't go anywhere. It was like in the middle of quarantine, and I fully cried.
I could see that.
Fully was like, do I have no place?
When you just need a little bit of space.
And then there's that little bit of like embarrassment that like you add that on top.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. Yeah. You don't look your best you're.
You look beautiful though.
My side boob.
You look great.
It was a good distraction.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, oh, hubba hubba.
But it wasn't as sexy as baby fetish furniture or anything.
Well, not sexy to us, but maybe sexy to those guys.
She's back to being tolerant.
I'm going to link this video. You guys are going to see it, and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to come around.
The other thing about the baby fetish people that bothers me is how it's not realistic. Like, they still utilize those like bonnets and stuff. Like not only is it baby fetish, but it's like we're going back in time.
Right, caricature of like
gaga christening dresses and like weird pins in the diaper.
Yes,
like we don't use those usually.
We totally don't.
So it's like if you're gonna do it, at least be historically accurate or modern,
right?
And Journal of Nature, we have questions.
Yeah, we're always Team Britney.
Always.
It gave us a chance to really explore the male gaze and how that affects us.
We're sick of it.
Yeah, yep.
But don't worry, you could just go ahead and write your vagina a letter,
and then you'll feel better.
Get a ring by spring and wear your turtlenecks.
You can wear because modest is hottest.
That is not true.
No. Give me the boobs. Ooga. Give me some side boob. That's what I want.
Right. I'll have that dad walk in on me in the tub, and I'll see if he's still singing that
we'll
tune.
See what's hottest.
After he sees Gina
Would you like
softball.
Susie? Oh, my God.
All right, people. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.